Hello everyone, sorry for that. I'm not sure why it does that. Every now and then it just decides not to recognize the microphone. Yep, there you go. Thank you everyone for pointing that out. This is actually the best way to get all of you into the stream and get you all engaging, telling me you're on mute, you're on mute, you're on mute. I'm here. Maybe I need to make a mute emoji for members. Maybe I'll think about that the next time. Alright, it's back. Yep, it's back. Start writing some poems if I'm back. We had a quick poem there before for Sean Lane. Sean Lane is his name. Prepare for takeoff for the lane plane. He's going to get some serious points gain. Hopefully the trade-in doesn't end in pain. Sean Lane is coming in. I never would have thought I'd be bringing this guy into my team pre-season, but look, this is the beauty of this game. Throws curveballs. Yeah, so as I was rambling, bit of carnage with Hines obviously out. And Madison is the other one. Rib injury, so looks like he's going to be a late out as well. So yeah, it isn't an Aman stream without the first minute having the mic muted. Not exactly right. So what I'll quickly do is I think I've decided on my trades. So I've undone all my changes. I'll quickly go through them, and then we'll get to all of your questions for sure until about 7:45. So we've got about a solid 40 minutes to answer questions. So yeah, trades. This is what I'm looking to do. Let me first put in McInnes in for Coruscant, set up my team properly. So Payne Haas is going for Fanua Pole. He is coming in for me just because I think I'll get rid of Haas now and then make up some funds there. So let me find him. Where is he? Well, he scored 44 last week. So, oh geez, there's a lot of... Why can't I find this dude? Fanua, where? There you are. Alright, so you're coming in, trading out Payne Haas. 604k in the bank. Thank you, Karaz, for your services. You were out for Manu. What's going on here? The website doesn't want to let me do the subs. Let me refresh. I might just have to do it on my phone. What was I doing? Oh my goodness. Imagine if I can't do my trades after all of this messing around. Fanua, where you at, Fanua? There you go, you're in. Karaz out for Paps via Manu. It's not working. What's wrong? The duels are not working. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? Alright, I'm just gonna have to do it on my phone. So bear with me for a second because I want to make sure I get my team right. So Payne Haas is going for Fanua Pole. Now have you pronounced his name? So let me quickly do this. Maybe I should have had the team set ready to go. Anyway, Haas to Fanua is done. Kraz is going out for Pappy via Manu. Yeah, okay, it's working on the app. So those two trades are locked. If you can read that. Payne Haas out. Kraz out for Paps and Fanua Pole. That's the one. What are you guys saying? The website glitches a bit with the subs. Usually you have to go to the NRL homepage. Okay, I might try that. But it's okay. I've done it on my phone. So I'll do it on my phone and I'll refresh and hopefully it fixes up there. Ewan Aiken. He's done really well for me all season, but I think he's going for Sean Lane. So Sean Lane is coming in for Aitken. Like, Aiken's been really good, but I want to go hard on this week. I've decided. So Sean Lane is coming in. And I am selling Sifitalakai for Hosking. Gonna go for the Nuff. Hit Control H, it'll fix it. Okay. It's alright. I'm doing it on my phone right now, and then you guys can see what my team is looking like. But yeah, I've decided to go for Hosking. I think, given price changes, I kind of wanted to take the extra 30k. I could get Jed Cartwright, who's dual, but I'll stick with Hosking for now, and I'll get into my reasoning as to why I'm taking out Talakai as well, just in a second as well. So, yeah, so it's done now. It's done now on the website. Sweet. So you can see I've gone from 12 to 8 trades. I'm using my last boost as well. Finupol's coming in. Sean Lane, get in there, you good thing. As is Hosking. Cleary's not going to be the captain. Captain is going to be Dillbags. Vice is 100% going to be Ryan Pappenhausen. Get in there, you good thing. Nico Hines isn't playing. Grant Anderson, get in there for Taylor May. Isaiah Tass, you are up this week, so get in for Manu. And Lomax, you're in as well this week for Garrick. I understand this is not the most exciting stream so far, guys, so bear with me. So I'll have, I think, 13 now at this rate. So I'll have 13 players, and that's going to be the team. Let me bring in Leo Thompson, because you're playing as well. That's the team. So the reason why I am taking out Talakai, so I was umming and ahhing, firstly, if I was going to do the extra Nuff downgrade. I've decided to do it this week because with the 388k, hopefully that means I've got about enough to do McInnes to Grant next week, and I can also do, hopefully, Ezra Mam to Tedesco, hopefully in one move without any extra like fundraising. If, for example, one of the two doesn't back up and gets arrested from Origin, I'll instead maybe look to use that money to maybe get like a Joe Tarpany for maybe one of my center wings, maybe like a Lomax because his draw gets a little bit tougher, maybe via Tungo, and get in like a Tarpany or maybe get a second row forward. I kind of want to have that money in the bank. So the reason why I'm selling Talakai is obviously he's not going to play this week, round 17. Round 18, they play on Friday. So it's 2 days after State of Origin. I know he's only playing off the bench. With the loss of McLean, maybe he needs to play a little bit extra minutes in the middle. I'm just wondering, does he actually back up? Even if he does back up, it's the Cowboys, so it's a tough game. Round 19 is Penrith. Again, I feel like I can live without him for that game. And he just hasn't really done super, super well since I ever got him in. Whereas I think Angus does have potential to go better. A lot of people are selling Angus this week as well. So I'm kind of thinking if I can hold him as a bit of a pod in 2RF. I've still got Thungal for like the 2RF center wing duels. I could get Hosking, but I feel like I could get Cartwright, but I feel like that extra 30k might come in handy. If I did get Cartwright and I did sell, for example, Lomax or one of my center wings for a second row forward via duels, at that point I would be losing out on that 2RF center wing. But yeah, so look, I don't have to make that decision on Hosking today. I can wait until, say, like on Saturday. Since I'm selling one of my buy players in Aiken, you can reverse that trade and update that. But for the moment, I'm thinking Hosking. But that's my last boost. Those are my 4 trades. I'll run out with 13 this week, which I'm happy enough with. And I've got Paps in. Okay, enough of that. Let's get to your questions. So why am I selling Talakai over Ezra Mam? So Egg, the reason why I'm selling Talakai is because I wanted to get one of the 2RF nuffs in. And Ezra, I'm going to use him as my makeway for Tedesco. So what I can do next week is I can swap Nico Hines up to halfback via Ezra Mam, which will let me then buy in the fullback. And so hopefully with the cash, I can go from Ezra Mam up to Tedesco. So I'm using Ezra as my stepping stone to Tedesco. Hence why I'm holding him for this week. He plays this week as well, which is handy. So that's why I'm looking to keep him for this week. Would I prioritize Madison or Olukwatu next week, Kieran? I would actually prioritize Olukwatu. I think he is in the top 3, second row forward. Madison's clearly having issues with this rib issue. Olukwatu's got super high floor. Manly have a pretty good run home as well. So yeah, for me, Olukwatu is a top 3 2RF. I think Madison still could be, but he's still just currently battling this rib issue. So yeah, I would go Olukwatu. Angus to Mulatalo or save the trade? Ooh. Like, I'm holding Angus. I like the appeal of going with Mulatalo. But would I buy Mulatalo this week? I get it. It is a bye week. I'm just thinking without Hines, Storm I think will bounce back. I think Storm will win tonight. Just after what they dished up last week. I'm not massively in love with the Angus to Mulatalo. But I think Mulatalo is a season keeper. So in that case, I don't mind it. Would you sell Talakai or Angus? So yeah, I had the same dilemma. I've decided on Talakai because I think, yes, he does have a really good run home, and I might be a little bit scared of not owning him for that run home. But then like the last few weeks, he's sorry, what am I going to say? Yeah, so since that big Manly game, the Sharks have played the Warriors twice, Titans twice, and the Bulldogs once. So that's like 5 good games, but he still hasn't scored over 60. He's only scored over 60 twice. Now, granted, last week you could argue he should have got the try assist, probably could have actually scored over 60, but he just hasn't shown a lot recently. And I'm thinking because he has potential to maybe even miss this week for sure, maybe even next week, and then Penrith. Whereas Angus, I think the Roosters, they've got an extra day off coming off the bench. I think they've got less scope to be resting guys just because they're trying to fight for top 8. And then they've got the Dragons and then the Knights. I feel like I'd rather hold Angus for that little period. If I want to sell Angus eventually, maybe I can go back to Talakai for his good run. But that's kind of the reason why I've decided to sell Talakai over Angus. What do you think about bringing in Tarpany this week, even though he doesn't play, over a Sean Lane? No, I think I would still buy Sean Lane this week. Just go for the guy who's going to play for this week. Always a slight risk buying guys in the bye week. Look, you never know. Could get injured at training. Not that I'd ever wish this on players. So I would just take the guy who's going to play for this week. I do prefer Tarpany over the long term over Sean Lane, but I feel like if you are having to definitely buy one this week, look, if you don't want Sean Lane, just hold out, get Tarpany next week. I don't think you need to necessarily buy him this week, unless, for example, say you've got other trades you might think of doing next week, so you kind of want to maybe just get one in earlier. I don't mind that as a strategy. Bring in Isaiah Papali'i or Sean Lane. Oh, that's a tough one. IPAP has been kind of a little bit down the last few weeks. How much is he now? He's 650k. I still see him, like, he's named on the edge this week. Minutes have been a bit messed around the last few weeks as well, don't get me wrong. I think the dual and the fact that you can plug him in the front row forward, I'd probably still get IPAP. Reason also being is that he's very, very highly owned. So, Sean Lane doing well this week, yes, it'll be good. It'll be sucky for a non-owner, but it won't punish you. If IPAP does well and you don't own, it's really, really going to hurt you badly. So it's a bit of a risk mitigation thing as well. You could anti-pod him, but it's a game against Tigers on the edge. I think he can do well still this week. So I think I'd still just about get IPAP. That's more of a risk mitigation thing. If you're like chasing, I would maybe go with a pod. If you're kind of in an okay rank and you want to maybe hold ground, then I would say get IPAP because the majority of the people around you probably will have him as well. Would you bother going Matto to Lane? Yeah, I've seen a couple of questions about this. Madison to Lane. I honestly don't mind it. So I'm a patron to NRL Physio. Shout out to him. He published a great little article on there about players who have come back from rib cartilage injuries and how they've performed, like Supercoach wise. Almost every player who's had a rib cartilage injury, when they've come back, their performance has reduced, as has their Supercoach average. So Madison will, by the time he plays next week, if he does play next week, that'd be 3 weeks off, I believe. So that's quite a lot of time off. So Physio mentioned that might mean he's not actually as badly impacted as, say, a bloke who had a rib issue and then had to play again next week. But there's been a definite trend of people not doing so well. I think the fact that he is coming off this issue, a bit of uncertainty, Sean Lane's cheaper, more of a pod. I don't mind actually going Madison to Lane. I think I'll just about do it as well, because I think Lane at the moment looks he's safe for 80 minutes. Really good partnership with Dylan Brown. That's another reason why I'm also going for him this week. Since I've got Dylan Brown, I can kind of, hopefully if they both do well at the same time, that really does help me out. So yeah, I think I would do it, especially in a week like this. It's good to get extra numbers in there. Madison, you're selling him at a good price as well. It's not like you're going to sell him at a dirt cheap price. Which one do I sell? Crichton, Dungor, or Isaiah Yeo? Kalani, I would probably say Isaiah Yeo. I know he's been really good, but he'll miss this week definitely, and it looks like the Panthers are going to rest their Origin guys for round 18. That's going to be 2 weeks in a row you will miss him. Could be a rest at the very end of the season. I just think the Roosters are not really in the position to be resting a lot of their guns. So I think Crichton, for total points for the rest of the season, I think you're going to get more out of him than, say, Isaiah Yeo. So I'd say sell Isaiah Yeo if you're going to sell any of those three. McInnes or Angus to Oluwatu next week. Kieran, definitely McInnes. I think if McInnes is still on the bench, he's like McInnes is going for me next week if I can flip him to Harry Grant if he's playing. I'm not really too fussed about that if he's still off the bench. Buy around is forgiving all my Supercoach sins. Corey Pakes, Andrew Fafita, Isaiah Tass. Yeah, any Andrew Fafita owners out there, shout out to you. You've got him in as a starting prop for this week. Latrell, Brown, or Lane as second something. Second to buy this week along with Pappy. I would say, look, I'm a bit biased here, but I think Dylan Brown, I think he probably is the second best 5'8". I still think Teddy might just outscore Latrell for the rest of the season, whereas I think at 5'8", it's either Brown, Drinkwater behind Munster. So I think I would get Dylan Brown. I think he's one of the few guys this week who has got like 100 plus potential. Obviously Latrell falls into that camp too, don't get me wrong. Brown is just very consistent. I really like owning him. So I would go for Brown, Mitch out of that. I'd say Latrell probably is going to score the most this week though, out of those three. But Brown to score the most over the rest of the season. And I'm imagining any one of three of these guys you're going to bring in, you'll hold for the rest of the season. So yeah, I think Dylan Brown for a kind of a long rest of the season pick. Thoughts on Graham to Lomax? I think Campbell Graham's definitely a sell. I don't think I'd be buying Lomax though. Like I'm actually thinking about maybe getting rid of him in a couple of weeks. The draw does toughen up for the Dragons. He just doesn't really have the upside. I think if I was going to be selling Campbell Graham, another round 17 guy. There's not too many now in the center wing. Hopefully via duels, you can maybe get a 2RF like a lane. I'd probably prefer. Like Lomax will be fine this week, but I don't think he's going to be going huge. I don't even mind going with like a Katoa. I know the draw is kind of tough, but the end of the season draw for the Dragons is really good. I think I'd take more of a punt on Katoa. He's more of a pod as well, Amani. Like I just think there are just better options than Lomax. That's all I'm saying. Paps or Latrell, I'm just going to say it right now. Paps is the number one buy this week over everyone else. I think he is the best Supercoach player for the rest of the season, so I would be going with Paps. Clutch. Going Hosking over Cartwright. Think the duel simply makes him more worth it. Yeah, look, it's an extra 30k. The thing is, I feel like I'm going to be a little bit tight with coin. I'm just going straight down to the cheapest guy. I still got Isaac there for the duel status. There is also some talk that Jed could potentially have featured last week on the bench, so I feel like he might not actually be much of a one and done as we think, and he could actually be like maybe a bench player for the Rabbitohs moving forward. So he could maybe be one of those guys who gets like 10-15 minutes. Could be an AE issue. So I'm just putting that out there, that I've seen some reports of that. I 100% agree though. The duel is really handy. But for me, I think because if I'm trying to get Grant and Tedesco next week, I kind of want to squeeze out every dollar I can this week. So I'm just going with Hosking for that reason. James, thank you so much for the donation. Got IPAP, Lolo, Haas, and King, and needs enough one this week for cash. Who's the best one to bring in Pole for? I would definitely say Payne Haas, James. I think you've got obviously good depth there with IPAP, Lolo, and King. Lolo and King are both dual, which is really handy. I think Haas is actually now that I think about that, look, you can afford to hold Haas, and then you can sell King instead. But how much is Max King? It's 490. Okay, so there's only an 8k difference between selling Max King and selling Haas. I think I'd still sell Haas. I think you don't need to worry about him, I think, for the rest of the season. It's either between him or King. I think King still is being pretty solid. The duel probably just about edges it in my opinion. So I'd probably sell Payne Haas just because he's also a bit of a depth thing as well, where he's not going to be playing for the next couple of weeks. Do you think Munster backs up? Is it crazy trading him out on low trades? I would just need him back and then cook later on, and you think you're done. Yeah, Gazaraki, I don't think it's absolutely crazy to be selling him from memory. So that's 3 days after. No, they're playing the Sunday, sorry. They're playing the Sunday, 17th of July. So there's a decent turnaround. They're versing the Raiders, who are definitely no pushovers. So my feeling is he will back up. He generally does back up. So that's another reason why I'm obviously just holding him for this week. Okay. For next round, Hughes to Teddy. It feels a bit sideways doing Hughes to Teddy, but I like Teddy, obviously, as a pick. 9 trades left and 760k in the bank. Would you pass on Taps next week and go off and Gary this week with IPAP in front and forward? That way you'll have enough cash to get Grant, Teddy, Munster via Karaz, Mam, Cody. Okay, so you're basically saying by going off and Gary this week, it'll let you have enough cash to get one of those guns in. Because of that, I would say yes. Captain Hausen, great name. I would just about go off and Gary. Not ideal, but you are getting another guy for round 17 as well. So yeah, I'd say for that reason, yeah, stick with the offer pick for this week. Is Lane a season keeper for you? Yeah, he is. I think he is. Look, he's kind of in the mold, I think, of Kickow. You know, he might chuck in the 30s and 40s, but he might very easily get like the 80s and stuff. And I think they're definitely using him more in attack as well. So yeah, I am viewing him as a season keeper. A 63 average for the season is, I would say, just about borderline season keeper as well. How many nuffs is too many for round 17? Yeah, look, I don't think I'm really going to get any more nuffs. I've got Pole, Hosking, Health, and Anderson might turn into one. So that's 4. I don't really want to get any more than that. So I think for me, it's not really necessarily how many nuffs for this week. It's also more about in total. I think I wouldn't go any more than 4 nuffs. I think you probably want to have a squad of about 20-21 for the run home. What do you think about Daniel Saluka Fafita as a nuff now with him at the Rabbits? Is he a dual? Like, if you're going for a straight nuff, I don't believe he's been named to play this week. I think he's 18th man. Look, front row forward is okay. Reason I'm going with Pole is that he's got some runs on the board. He scored 44 last week. So, yeah, I think he might not even be enough. He could be someone who plays like 30, 40 minutes for the rest of the season. Exactly what Moz has just said there as well. So, yeah, I've not really considered to look for Fafita. I'd probably just about go Pollans over him. What's your total for this week? Yeah, so I think I'm on 13. So McInnes, IPAP, Leo, Poles 4, Lane 5, Hosking 6, Mam 7, Dylan Brown 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep, I'm on 13 for this week in numbers, which I'm pretty happy with. Obviously, having Hines would have made it at 14, but we can't do much about that. Do you think it's risky to nuff the 5'8 position? Yeah, I do think so. It's sticky because I think 5'8, you want to run two guns, in my opinion. I think in terms of team setup, I'm looking at running 2 halfbacks, Cleary Hines, 2 5'8s in terms of Dylan Brown and Munster, and then 2 fullbacks in Pappy and Teddy, and then one more, either say like a 2RF, maybe a centre wing, or maybe a hooker. So that kind of gets you to a squad of about 20 guns. So that's kind of where I would be looking at having my reserves for the rest of the season. So I think it is risky nuffing in 5'8. It's one of those high upside positions. Nuffing in front row forward, having 1 nuff in centre wing and 1 in 2RF is okay because you've just got more slots as well to play in those spots compared to a 5'8 where you've only got 2. And think about it. If you have a nuff in your 5'8 and your starting 5'8 is out for a week, you can't call upon anyone to cover him. So that's another risk as well with having a nuff in 5'8. Looking to trade out Madison, can get a 2RF front row forward or a centre wing. Yeah, I think centre wings now, because no Hines, I don't think the Sharks will do as well. And no Graham as well. So I think the centre wing position is definitely weakened this week. So I would definitely look in the 2RF. I would probably go Sean Lane. I've gone Sean Lane over Offengawi. I like the fact that he's got Tigers and the Warriors in the next 2 weeks. He's being used in attack as well. It's crazy to say this, but he's more of an exciting pick for me than Offengawi at the moment. So I'm going Sean Lane, but that's not really much more of my thought process apart from that. I just like, it's kind of a bit of an eye testing. I like what I'm seeing as well with Lane. Joe O at 600k or Keon at 500k. Yeah, I don't mind taking the haircut and going 100k cheaper with Kolomatangi, Luke. Again, it depends. Do you really need that extra 100k? I think Offengawi will outscore him for the rest of the season. Whether it's worth 100k or not, it's a different story. I think Kolomatangi is going to be a safe 60, maybe 55 to 60 a week. Offengawi is probably going to be a 65. So if you think about that for the rest of the season, what do we have? 17, 18, 19, 20. We'd have 9 rounds left. So you're looking at 9 times 50 is, 9 times 5. So you're looking at like a 45 point difference. Is 45 to 50 points for the rest of the season worth the extra 100k? When I say it out loud, I'd say probably not. So I'd probably just say Kolomatangi in that instance. But he is dual. Graham, TPJ, and Talakai out for Paps, Lane, and Pole. $500 left, mate. Mitch, that is a sign. $500 left. Yeah, I like those trades. I'm doing very similar in terms of getting rid of Talakai. And yeah, I think Graham is a very easy sell. Lovely work, Aman. Thank you so much, Tyler. Lola versus Talakai versus Max King as a trade out. Yeah, look, the run home is good for Talakai. Look, there's no reason why I can't buy him back. I'm happy that I've got Mulatalo at least. I've got a bit of a hedge insurance policy. If Talakai does well, Mulatalo's probably going to do well. I think because Talakai could be a risk of missing out next week, that's kind of why I sold him. And also, for me, part of the reason why I'm keeping Max King is also because I don't really have any other options now on front row forward. I'm going to be running Max King as my second front row forward. Sell Angus or Kickow? Oh, jeez. If I had to sell one, it probably would be Angus, just because Kickow's playing for Penrith. That's a borderline decision, though. Don't forget, Penrith have the Tigers next week as well. Kickow would be free from the restings too. Thoughts on Edric Lee as a pod? Yeah, look, Edric Lee, I see him as a cash grab, nothing more than that really. He'll go up maybe like 100k if he scores like 40 and 40, I think. But you definitely have to view him as a trade in, trade out. So I don't mind it to write him up to say like a Toto and say like round 19. But like generally as a pod, I don't really love it. To the guy who was asking earlier actually about a centre wing, Ian yesterday on stream mentioned a really great one is Corey Oates. So Corey Oates has actually scored quite well the last few weeks. So if you are looking for pod and centre wing, anyone out there, consider Corey Oates, especially this week when a lot of people may be selling Campbell Graham. So Corey Oates is 540k, so I think he's similar price to Graham, if not cheaper. 5-round average of 67, so pretty solid. His draw is awesome though, I reckon. Dragons, Titans, Parramatta, who conceded quite a few points to the edge. Then the Tigers. I think that's a good draw for Corey Oates. He's got a decent work rate. Yes, he's got a 19 from round 4, but since then his lowest score has been 33, which is fine for his centre wing, right? So I don't mind Corey Oates. Just shouting it out there to anyone who's interested in buying a pod and centre wing. I'm feeling really poddy this week. I'm buying Sean Lane. I think I'm getting my pod juices are flowing. Any thoughts on Burbo, Karaz and Tamari Martin out for Latrell, Cartwright and Hoskins? I think that's a good set of moves, Couch Bajado. You're getting a gun in Latrell and you're losing some dead weight in Tamari Martin, Karaz and Burbo. Karaz calling him dead weight's a bit harsh, but you get what I mean. I think he's not a top line player for the run home. You're trading out 0 round 17 guys for 3 for a gun. I think it's a good set of trades. Isaiah Yeo, Karaz and Burbo for Pole, Hosking and Paps with money to go forward for guns. Yeah, I think lock that in. If I see Paps being traded in and it's not selling like, Tedesco and all these kind of guys, I'm like, yeah, it's probably a good set of trades. Thoughts on Gagai as a pod for the rest of the season? Potentially, the Knights do have a good run home as well. I think they're like the lowest scoring team though in the NRL. I'm just not sure how much I trust them. Like Broncos, I'd have more trust, say, for example. So if I'm going pod, I'd maybe go like Corey Oates this week, for example, or maybe like a Val Holmes from next week onwards. Because Gagai's not coming in this week, he's not playing this week. That's kind of why I'm just like, if you're going to go for one this week, just get someone who plays. So maybe a Corey Oates. Let's see some questions I might not have seen. Toby, 15 trades, and you're thinking Cleary, Haas, and Talakai for Latrell, Pole, and Sean Lane, or Offengawi. Only issue with getting Lane is that Max King becomes my second front row forward. Should I opt for Offengawi because of this, or not enough of a gap? Well, I'm comfortable having Max King for now be my second front row forward. So I don't think that's as much of an issue. If he's, Max King might get like 55s and offer 65, so it's a 10-point gap, which is reasonable but not groundbreaking. So I'm happy enough with Max King. I get that you've got 15 trades, so this is why I think the Cleary out works. Especially if Panthers are going to rest him, then I think you've got a decent, not as much a risk there. You just have to be 100% have a pathway so that round 19 when Cleary's back, you can get him back in. Or if, for example, next week he ends up playing against the Tigers, you have to be ready to try to bring him back in. That's all I'm going to say, Toby. I know you've got quite a few trades, which is why I think it's okay, but just make sure that with those set of trades, you've got enough in the bank. You've got a plan to go straight back to Cleary next week in the event that he gets named, because he probably will be the most captain player next week. So just flagging that with you. Oh, you say, okay, leaves you with 427k, so you can get Grant Cleary Munster back next week. Mate, you're all over it. I think you're top 50 overall. So no need to listen to me. Yeah, with that money in the bank, I'd say it's just about okay. And look, at your ranking, if you're getting Pappy and you already have Pappy from last week and you're getting Latrell in this week, yeah, go hard, mate. And you've got trades. You're in a luxurious position. Just let me know, is that 15 trades after your moves or before? So if it's before, so you come down to 12 trades, which I still think is pretty okay. Can we all be pissed with Pappy tonight, having real regret spending 930k? I hope that beautiful lion's mane mullet man gets me 150 points tonight. ever since, like, Pappenhausen to me is like one of my favorite because I captained him last year for his 197 against the Broncos, and I got him for his 193 this year. So to me, Pappenhausen is a GOAT. He is, I love that man. Cleary is definitely being rested next week. Hey, not a trade question, just wondering. So the reason why we're all theorising that the Panthers will rest their Origin stars next week is that a lot of the New South Wales Cup players got rested for this week in preparation for them to play next week. So, for example, Sean O'Sullivan didn't play New South Wales Cup or is not named for this week. So they're keeping him free so that he's ready to play next week. So yeah, I think there's no definites, of course, but good by the rumblings that I'm hearing, it's a good chance that Cleary will get a rest next week, as will maybe someone like Coruscant. Again, another reason why I can't really rely on McInnes off the bench, and if Coruscant's out, I want to flip him to Harry Grant if I can. I'm disgusted you chose that filth as your thumbnail. Do not be hating on Lane, my man. Sean Lane is the GOAT. He's going to be eventually the GOAT when he gets 120 this week. I'm calling it. Dylan Brown is going to send over Lane for a try. Sean Lane is going to offload to Dylan Brown for a try this week. If that happens, I will go crazy. Moses to Cleary next week if needed. Thanks as always, Aman. No worries, Toby. And look, that's actually perfect because if Cleary is rested, Moses has the Warriors, and then in round 19, when you definitely want Cleary back, the Eels have the Broncos. So it's an easy enough game to sell Moses. Like that plan. Karaz, Suwali, and Kickout to Paps, Jed, Cartwright, and the Lane train. Yeah, I like those moves, Taj. Yeah, you're getting in 2 guns in Lane and Paps, and a good enough. Yeah, I think that's a... selling Kickout is tough. But you don't have to do that one. The reason... Okay, now I'm going to backtrack on it because Kickout's got the Tigers next week. Tough one. That's a really, really tough one. I don't know if you necessarily have to do that one. If you don't, like, Kickout is about the same price as Sean Lane. So, like, 100% Karaz, Suwali to Paps, Jed, Cartwright, 100% lock that in. I'm not 100% sure about the Kickout out though one because I think Kickout will still be pretty good for the rest of the year. We don't talk about Paps' 193 ever or once it's 33. I'll be talking about Paps' 193 till the cows come home. Sorry, Moz. I can't become a member for some reason. There's no option for me. Oh, that's a weird one. So I think the way to do it is just after the stream, if you go into my homepage on YouTube, I think there's a join button and that lets you become a member. I'm not sure how you do it from the stream. Apologies. I'll look into that if it's something I need to turn on. But thank you so much, James, as well for the consideration. Thoughts on Lane as a captain and Pappy VC, or would you rather IPAP as captain? So the question is, I guess, captain Sean Lane or IPAP? Oh man. Sean Lane or IPAP? Okay, let's look at their 5-round averages. IPAP's got a 5-round average of 63. Sean Lane, the GOAT, 80. Oh. Who plays on the Tigers' right edge? I don't even watch enough Tigers games to know this anymore. I'm so hyped about Sean Lane. I would just about say Sean Lane. I don't even have a coin to do a 50-50 call. Let me think about that a bit more, and let me get back to you, Sam, on that one. I am conscious of the time. How much time is left until lockout? We've got 13 minutes. Give me 10 minutes, and I'll have my answer by then. I'll find a coin somewhere. Just checking my team's all set up properly as well. It should be fine. Thoughts on Mam to Trell or save the 200k? Yeah, I think it comes down to, if you don't buy Trell this week, are you going to buy Teddy next week? I'm personally leaning to just getting Teddy. So, like, I would hold on that trade. Like, I'm holding on that trade personally myself as well, brods. Pappy about to pop off. Let's hope so. And just on that question, this is a question from Sam again. What score would you be looping? I think anything above about 75, 80, I'd probably take that. You just never know what can happen in the game. Fine, maybe Pappenhausen gets 80, but God blessing. Hope this never would happen. But Dylan Brown goes off after 10 minutes, and you've got him captain, and you get like 5 points. like it's a bit of a thing where you can guarantee yourself the points this week. I would just take about a 75-80 point, I think, this week for a loop. Do you trade out Drinkwater for Paps or trade out Mam to Paps? Only downside is you lose one extra player for this round. Look, Drew, I think getting Paps in this week is almost essential. If you can afford Mam to Paps, I would sell Mam to Paps because I think for most people he's going to be a sell next week anyway. I like Drinkwater as a run home option. The Cowboys have got a really good draw next week in round 18. They play on Friday, so Holmes might not back up from Origin, which would mean Drinkwater's goal kicking, which is good for next week. I definitely see Drinkwater as a good long-term season hold. So obviously you're spending a lot of money to go from Mam to Pap, so just make sure, just have a think about, is that worth spending all that money if it stops you from doing other trades in the future? But straight up 50-50 between the two, I would definitely be selling Mam for Paps instead. Unless you've got enough trades to sell Drinkwater this week and then buy him back again straight away next week for Mam. That's the only thing I would propose. If you're short on trades, maybe just go directly from Mam to Paps. I know it sucks, you're losing in a player for this round as well, but yeah, think about the trades. If you can maybe just flip Mam back to Drinkwater next week. So you're only doing an extra trade, but you're getting both the points this week and then also the gun for the run home. Tuolangi plays the right edge. Oh, he's an okay defender, isn't he? And Luke Garner would be on the left, eh? Doesn't matter. Sean Lane's getting 100 plus anyway. Look, if I'm saying Sean Lane's getting 100 plus, Sam, I think you should just captain him. But I think IPAP equally can get as well. Oh, mate. Oh, man, that's a tough one. I'm still thinking about it. Hey, man, little Pappy for a hat-trick tonight and over 150 points. Ian, I like you a lot. I love that. I would love nothing more than that mullet man to go for a hat-trick, and we just take the easy vice captain loophole, and I don't have to tell Sam to captain IPAP or Sean Lane and Pappy. Oh, you know what, Sam? If you don't need to worry about, can we just, how about we wait for tonight, see how Paps does, and then I'll tell you then at that point. Because then if Paps gets 150, it doesn't matter. You're going to loop that, right? Is it too much to have IPAP, Lane, and Matto at the same time? Nah, definitely not. I don't think so, Waylord. They're all from a good team. They're all in their own right good Supercoach options, playing for a good team, decent run home as well. It's always fine, I think, to have a lot of players from the good teams. You know, going hard on Penrith. The Storm, for example. I don't think that's really a bad idea. Hey, man, should you cash in Karaz and go Talakai to Lane as your third and fourth trade, or is that a waste? Okay, so your third trade is cashing in Karaz and you're boosting Talakai to Lane. It's kind of similar to what I did, though, to be honest. So I don't hate it. Like, I think I was fine to use my last boost this week because I'm using a boost that's getting me a lot of money. So hopefully I can get my guns in without having to do waiting extra rounds as well. So, yeah, look, I don't mind it. I had my reasons for selling Talakai. Definitely prepared for the risk that he could do well for the run home. But I think for me, I want Sean Lane. I don't know what it is about him. Just think he's passing the eye test. Would you captain Cody Walker over IPAP and Lane? I still don't think I would. I still think that the Tigers is a better matchup. And the way that Parramatta go, I think they're going to bounce back this week. And the thing with Cody, now that Latrell's back, I wonder if he's going to take on more of the responsibilities, and I wonder if Cody's going to get less involved. So, no, I would still stick it with IPAP and Lane. At least they've got higher base as well. Cody has that ability to throw in a stinker. At least Sean Lane and IPAP minimum should probably get you like 50. And so that helps you Moz avoiding your Munster 33 type scores. So I'd probably go IPAP or Lane. The member tab isn't there on your main page like the others. Maybe check after the stream. Yeah, James, I'll take a look at that. Thanks for pointing that out. Hopefully I can fix that up. Sevo for captain to save your season, Ing Sentia. That is a bold move. I don't think I could ever captain Sevo. He's just that guy. He doesn't have enough base for me. But look, Incentia, good luck to you, my friend. Talks and pods. Okay. Sean Lane, I think, is a good pod this week. Corey Oates, shout out to Ian, is in the chat. He mentioned Corey Oates last night. Really good draw coming up. I think he could be a serious pod. Katoa is still relatively a pod from memory as well. Tyson Frizzell, maybe a pod for 2RF. Should be back to playing 80 minutes, and he's always a decent option at that when he plays 80 minutes. So there's a few pods top of my head. Can't really think about too many more at the moment. There's 3 pods for you. I gave you 3 pods in the center wing and 1 in the 2RF. Why should I get on the Lane train? Convince you. Okay, let me give you a 40-second rundown of the Sean Lane. So 5-round average of 80. 3-round average of 76, which is, very good numbers. No tries in that period of time as well. So, last 5 weeks, base of 56, 49, 55, 46, 54. So he's got a base of about 50 since he started playing 80 minutes. No tries, but still has a 5-round average of 80. Getting involved in the attack. He's got a few try assists in the last few weeks. West Tigers this week. Warriors next week. Injury-free. Pod. That's my reasons. Lane over Mulatalo. I think because of the draw that the Sharks have now, I would just about say yes. Melbourne, Cowboys, and then Penrith. Whereas Lane has got Tigers and Warriors. I'd just about favour Lane for the next few weeks. Captaining Andrew Fafita. You heard it here first, folks. Mate, just being Cameron. Let me know how that goes post-game. Good luck to you. That's all I'll say. How come Madison is still on the team list? So they haven't officially cut him yet, but this is the reports that have come out from late mail from NRL Physio and Wacko's Whispers, I believe, also mentioned. Tim Williams, I think, reported it, and he does a lot of the late mail for the Daily Telegraph. So it wouldn't be on the team list yet. The Eels play, I believe, on Sunday, so you're likely to Saturday. So probably tomorrow evening at 7:30 you'd find out if, for example, in the 24-hour cut they might get rid of Madison. But for now he would still be in there because Eels don't have to actually report it in the team list just yet. 6 minutes left and I can't decide whether I want him. How much of a trap is Brandon Smith? Okay, this is the reason why I wouldn't go for Brandon Smith Waylord. Everyone who I've spoken to who owns Brandon Smith says don't buy him. Not because they're saying they want to keep him as a pod or anything. Everyone who's bought him says, I regret having him because he's just not doing anything good. And he's at an awkward price of 335k, I want to say. So it's just you can't really make money off him. Downgrading to him doesn't free up that much money. Look, I might eat my words after the game. He might score 100. But no one is suggesting who owns him to bring him in. So for me, that's probably enough of a reason to not get him. Elliot or Kickout? Okay, Taj, so you're asking who to sell, one of Elliot or Kickout. Man, Elliot's been really good. Shout out to the Whisperer who was in the chat earlier. Elliot has been really, really good. But I think Kickout is not getting... Elliot's got benched last week. Still getting messed around a little bit. So I think I would probably go Kickout to keep. Okay, Andrew Preston. Hey man, love your work as always. Thank you so much, Andrew. You're doing Karaz tomorrow, Martin, and one of Fisher Harris, Talakai, and Angus. Who would you go out? Probably Fisher Harris. I don't know from memory if Fisher Harris has done too much recently. I haven't really thought about him at all this season, to be honest. I'd probably take out Fisher Harris. I'm looking at his scores the last 3 weeks. 54, 42, 48. I know the last time that the Origin players got rested, he did play very well. He played bigger minutes and scored well. But I just don't see him as a season keeper. Talakai and Angus could still be season keepers, so I'd probably just about say Fisher Harris. He's not someone I'd be concerned about not owning for the rest of the year. Should you captain Alex Johnston? James, I would advise not to, just because there is some doubt about AJ. Look, if he's fit and he's playing, then fine. But because there's been some reports that he's got a bit of a quad niggle, could be a late out, or is in some doubt, I should say, that would give me enough doubt to not put the captaincy on him. Thoughts on Sivo? Yeah, you could get Sivo this week. To be fair, when I was saying before, there weren't a lot of center wings and pods. Yeah, Sivo is definitely a pod as well. Definitely don't mind that as a pod. Oates for captain, as no one should be on him for a pod. My goodness. Oates as captain. Oh, mate. No, I don't think I'd be captaining Corey Oates. But look, that is bold. That's bold. Should we captain Pappy, not deal bags? No. In this round, when you've got a free shot at doing the vice captain loophole, there's no reason to not vice captain Pappy, because you know, like with the vice captain, you've got the options to do the VC. So 100% VC Pappy and put the captaincy on deal bags after. Is Lane, IPAP, and Madison too many Parramatta? No, someone asked the question a little bit earlier. Don't think that's really too much of an issue, to be honest. Okay, we've got about a minute and a half to go, so I might be able to answer like one more question. I'm just going to refresh the browser and see if my team's all locked in, because tonight I'm going to have Pappy, McInnes, and Mulatalo play. Yeah, it would have been nice to have Jack Howarth, as you say, Taj, but he'll be a next year guy by the look of it. They don't want to rush him into first grade this year, but kid looks good. I think they signed him to a long-term contract as well and big money, so they're definitely eyeing him for the future. Should you captain Manu? Mate, Manu's not even playing this week. Why would you captain him? You can captain him if you want to do the vice captain loophole. And yes, for vice captain loophole, the best players to do it on are the bye players, because say someone like Olukwatu, they don't lock out until the beginning of the last game of the week. So Olukwatu won't lock out until 4 or 5 on Sunday, versus say someone like a Munster, he's going to lock out with today's game because his team is still playing but he's not available. So yeah, it's easy enough to captain one of your bye players. Like for example, I'll probably put it on like a Olukwatu if I want to loop. That's about it. Alright guys, we've got about 30 seconds, so I don't really know if I can get to too many more questions and you guys actually use the information to do your trade, so we'll probably end the stream there. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hopefully that was helpful. Good luck for this week is all I'll say. It's obviously a big, important week. Fingers crossed Ryan Pappenhausen goes huge. Don't need to worry about doing any captaincy deliberation afterwards. But yeah, everyone enjoy the game this week. Enjoy the State of Origin next week. And yeah, we'll see you all in the next one. Catch you all later.